Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to this Learning Soul Weavers video. Okay, just one thing, I'll stop going over builds because it takes a lot of time and then I forget half the time, and then yeah, I'll just make a video about builds later. So, yeah, all the three stars are dog. Let's start with Bidom. So you basically never gonna see Bidom. She's a unit that punishes extra turn, but she doesn't really do anything else, and she's kinda bad at punishing them because she only, like, her S2 has a 2-turn cooldown, which means if your opponent has multiple extra turn, it's fairly easy to punish her because she only proc once. And then her kit is pretty mediocre. So if your opponent takes an extra turn, you're gonna get a skill null and immunity, but that's it. And then her S3 is simply like a push with an attack buff and a barrier. So yeah, she's overall she doesn't really do enough. She can be a force ban against ML Ludwig and against Veronica. That's about it. Achates. So the reason why Achates sees any play is this part of her S3. So her S3, when you use it, it dispels all debuffs from your team, gives you random buffs instead. This is actually fairly useless. You're almost never gonna use it unless you have like way too many debuffs, or your Achates is gonna die. But the most relevant part of her skill is the last line. When this skill is not on cooldown at the end of an enemy's turn, increase combat readiness of the caster by 20%, which means no matter what, even if you're sealed, even if you're sealed, you're gonna push 20% at the end of your opponent's turn. This is obviously weak to reset though, so she's really weak to ML Roana, which is why the vast majority of the time when you pick her with Yufin, so your opponent can simply slam Roana and reset her and then you die. And so her gameplay is gonna be she's mostly played sometimes against Zio, mostly against Luna Cleave. So you're gonna play her with the extra push on S2 from her EE. And so Luna is gonna take the turn, she's gonna S3. Achates is gonna be played on Soul or on Eternus. She's gonna steal the turn, she's gonna press S2, she's gonna push one of her ally by 60%, they're gonna take the turn, and then you're gonna win off that. That's how she's played. So usually you're gonna pair her with something that has an impact when it takes the turn, which is for instance DDR, and then you push your DDR, it's gonna press S3, you sleep everyone, and then you just win off that. So yeah, she's an anti-cleave unit basically. So you play her usually either into Luna Cleave or sometimes against some Zio Cleave. But then it's a different build, you're gonna want her to be really IR. Okay. Okay, DDR. So DDR, S3, it's a non-contact, it's a non-attack skill, which means it's weak to stuff like Selene, but it's also really strong against evasion. So he strips 2 buffs, so you can potentially stack buffs to prevent him from sleeping you, but he can just hold and press the next turn. He strip 2 buffs, sleep your entire team, venom your entire team. So this is really good against everything basically. Let's be real, sleep, venom. It's good against tank down, it's good against cleave, it's good against absolutely everything. His S2 increase effectiveness of your team, which is kinda whatever. But then pestilence, which makes everyone venom on it, and it pushes your team 20%. And then his S1 is just a sleep and a detonate. His kit is extremely strong. The reason why you don't really see him as much anymore, because he used to be first pick, he used to be picked 1-3 every single game. The reason why you don't see him anymore is because we've gotten a few counters, namely Schniel and ML Sharun. And because of that, he's been relegated to a 4-5 pick basically. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. You're only ever gonna see him as 4-5 because of those two. but he's still very strong, and he's still a very strong late pick. Yeah, that's it. Nothing too special. Bloodmoon Haste. So, Haste used to be extremely broken. He prevents your opponent from like killing anything in your team without killing it. Yeah, they have to kill him first, basically. Like, he forces your opponent to kill him first, and he's extremely tanky, so it's really annoying to do. So what he does is, if your opponent kills something on your team, he gives everyone everyone on your team, obviously, like a very big barrier and immunity for 2 turns, as well as giving himself a 30% speed buff. And while he has his buffs, it doubles his S3 damage, and it lasts for 2 turns. And his S3 is a single target nuke that ignores defense, which means if your opponent has Ilinav or something like Ilinav, it's gonna do very little damage, but if they don't, it's gonna do around 10k damage. It also strips all buffs, so it does around 10k damage, strips all buffs, and if it kills, it's gonna revive everyone in his team, and it's gonna give immortality to everyone in his team. So it's extremely strong. And while he has his buffs, so if your opponent has killed someone on his team, his damage is doubled. Like the S3 damage is doubled, which means it's gonna do around 20k damage, which is like, it's gonna kill most stuff. That's not like pure tank. And yeah, so because of that, it makes your team really like hard to kill, basically, with raw damage. Because going through Haste is really hard, and you can't really kill anything else, because if you do, it's just gonna revenge kill something on your team and revive. The reason why he isn't really used anymore is because he's very weak. Like, he has no tempo whatsoever, like he doesn't do anything. His S1 is a bit of damage and a strip, and an extra attack that does like some more damage and some healing, but he doesn't really do anything to help your team aside from like preventing your opponent from killing something else. But that's really like that's not really enough nowadays, and because your opponents, like, most teams are really high tempo, most aggro teams are really high tempo, and so they're actually just gonna kill him and just like kill you after. And also he's extremely weak to debuffers, and debuffers are extremely common, so yeah. Like, he's weak to unbuffable, he's weak to seal, he's weak to just getting defense broken and dying. Like, he's weak to, yeah, it's just weak to like high tempo and debuffs, and that's basically every single aggro team these days. So Ruele is here to, she's really strong against single target nukers. Again, she's really weak, like similarly to Haste, she's really weak to debuffers, so that's why you don't see her much. But if your opponent picks like stuff like Genoa, stuff like Gala, granted those aren't really meta anymore, right? But like, I'm just gonna list like single target nukers like Gala, Genoa, Rimuru, what's his name? ML Taiyu. Like, yeah, ML Ball to some extent, honestly. But he debuffs, so it can be annoying for her. Like, ML Celine as well. Green Celine as well. Tori as well. Plan potentially, but I from having played Ruele into Flan is too high tempo for Ruele to keep up. But yeah, like all of those, like, so her S3, you revive someone, or like you heal someone to full HP, or you revive them with full HP, and you grant them invincibility for a full turn. So like, someone dies in your team, you just like reset the fight completely. Her S2, it's a huge heal, and then like dispel all debuffs, barrier, damage limit, again on single target. So, like, S3 S2 both single target. That's why she's really, like, you really want to only, like, she's really bad at dealing with AoE. She's really bad at dealing with debuffs again. But yeah, see, if your opponent picks like single target nukers, she's really strong. And on top of all of that, if she, like the first time she dies, she revives with 50% HP, and she pushes herself 50%. So it's really hard to like place single target nukers into Ruele, because you kinda have to kill her first because of her S3 and her S2, but if you kill her first, she's gonna revive, she's gonna push herself, she's gonna S2 herself, and then she's gonna be really hard to kill, and then if you kill something else, you can just S3 them. So yeah, like Ruele, the prime Soul Weaver against single target nuke. Mate Louis, you won't see her. Meru. Yeah, she's broken as fuck. Like, I don't know, I don't know what the fuck Smilegate was thinking. So, she has like the kit of like 5 units in a single one, which is great. So, when her S3 is very similar to DJB, which we'll see later, and it's a bit like, yeah, no, just DJB. So it's a full cleanse, which is really strong, and then you push your entire team by 25%. So it's a lot of tempo, it's really nice. On top of that, you consume 20% of like the current health of your frontline unit, which is kinda whatever, and then you give your entire team abundance, which makes it so every time you attack, you deal 2k fixed damage for 2 turns. This is quite, like, 2k doesn't seem like that much, but it's your entire team, it's fixed damage, so it doesn't care for like defense, and it's every attack for 2 turns. Like, it's not, like, for instance, Sharun has something similar, but it's a single attack. This is every attack for 2 turns. So let's say I play Belayan, I press S1, it procs, it's gonna do 4k additional damage. Let's say I counter, it's gonna do another 2k. Like, it adds up really fast. And then the main part of her kit, offering. When the game starts, you give offering to the target in the front, I think it's here, yeah, to the unit in the front of your team, which gives them basically a 70% Aureus, so that's absolutely insane. Your team's gonna take no damage whatsoever, and if they were to die, instead they're gonna get immortality for 1 turn, and yeah, that's it. And then if they die, you heal your entire team for 50% of their HP. Like, it's just complete nonsense. Like, basically, she makes your entire team unkillable. Like, it's basically, yeah, she makes your entire team unkillable. On top of that, she cycles a lot. She cycles based off your opponent's cycling, kinda. So anytime they see her push, she gets pushed by half of that. But like, for instance, let's say MLPera, she takes a turn, she pushes herself 10%, but she also pushes the rest of her team 10%, so Meru gets pushed 20%, because it's a 40% total push, right? So something that pushes on AoE, like DJB, DJB pushes his entire team by 30%, so that's 120% push, which means he's gonna push 60%. Like, that's absolutely insane. So she has very good cycling, and then her S1, she has a fear, which is basically a stun that can remove itself. Yeah, she can fear for 1 turn on S1. It's I think it's a 75, 10, 15, yeah, it's a 75% chance to fear, and then you can soul burn for 10 soul to make it 100% and make it AoE, because I don't know, why not? Talent's team was drunk. Very nice. So yeah, she's like, she doesn't really fit a specific role, she's just extremely broken. Like, there's not much thinking going. She has a lot of tempo, she gives your team tempo, I don't know, like, her S1 is crazy strong, and then offering is like beyond broken, so you just like pick her every game basically. There's not much thinking to do. Yeah, like, her kit is complete nonsense. Okay, next, Sharun. Sharun was originally made as a counter to DDR, which we saw earlier because he was broken as fuck. She kinda failed at that because she doesn't prevent Venom, and so she's an aggressive count, like she isn't a hard counter, but like she's an aggressive pick into DDR, where you're just gonna try and like cleave the DDR. She's really weak, so her S2 prevents. If someone on your team gets stunned, slept, or feared, she's gonna remove the fear, like she's gonna remove the debuff, and she's gonna push herself 40%, and she's gonna give your entire team Cascade, which is 4k extra damage on their next attack. Now, this is all nice and well, but this has a one turn cooldown, which means if I pick two units that have stun, sleep, fear, she won't do shit. Because let's say I pick DDR, I'm gonna press S3, I'm gonna press S2. Let's say I have Mort going after. Mort is gonna fear everyone, and she won't remove it because she will already have removed the fear. But that's not really her main issue, to be honest. Like, her main issue is that she's fairly squishy. She's fairly slow, and if she doesn't land her, like if she misses a single debuff, then it gets really awkward potentially. That's the main issue. So let's see her S3. S3, you attack all enemies, decrease debuff duration by 2 turns. This is really strong. This is much stronger than removing 2 buffs because you cannot buff stack against this. So decrease buff duration by 2 turns. Remove and then you unbuffable, and you either decrease attack or decrease defense depending on what you're eating, and you push back 20%. So yeah, like this is very aggressive. This is pretty strong overall, but yeah, overall, like she doesn't really do enough in most cases, and even when she does, she's kinda easy to counter. Like again, she's weak to seals, she's weak to like CC in general, she's squishy. But yeah, in theory, she's really strong against DDR. She's really strong against ML Ball. And yeah, I think that's mostly it though. But yeah, those two. And then this one, just to stun, you can like 30% chance, I think it's like 45. Okay, so it's just 40% chance to stun. If you stun, you push your highest attack unit by 20%, and then you can soul burn. Okay, DJB. DJB, so the main reason why DJB is ever played is barrier inversion, so that's his S2. So his S2 has a lot going on. It's an extra turn, it's a barrier inversion, it's a pushback by 20%. So, and it strips 2 buffs on top. So yeah, like it does a lot. Like it does a lot. Barrier inversion is extremely strong because like again, it's not just a dispel, it's inversion. That means if your opponent has a 5k barrier and you press S2, they are minus 10k HP basically, because not only do you remove the barrier, you also deal 5k damage. So that's a 10k HP shift. That's absolutely huge. That being said, he doesn't really do enough outside of that. His S3 dispel all debuffs and then immunity for 2 turns and then push 30% your entire team. That's really nice and all. The issue is he's really weak to like simply getting cleaved or like getting out tanked. So yeah, when you're gonna see DJB, he's only played by slow players trying to cleave other slow players, basically. Like, yeah, he's the slow players run in a way. Or like the Yamid maybe nowadays. Like yeah, if your opponent like early picks something like FCC and stuff, you can potentially just like pick DJB and try to cleave them. But yeah, it's pretty awkward overall. It's just pretty awkward overall. So yeah, you will see him a decent amount. Like I feel like slow players, I mean myself included, is very nice to play. He feels really good to play, but he's actually really bad. So like yeah, like I don't know. Like I've played him a lot, and I think he was like my lowest win rate unit. It's just he's fun to play, but yeah, he's not very good. Okay. Next we have Senya. Oh, we don't have that many good soul weavers. It's crazy. So Senya exists because of her S2. So when you start the game, you get 40 fighting spirit. If the unit in front of your team is a green unit, that's very important, you get an extra 40. And then when she gets attacked, she gets 20 fighting spirit. And when she reach 100 after being attacked, she's gonna get an extra turn, which is really important. That means she's gonna steal the turn no matter where she is on the CR bar. She's gonna do a lot of damage on AoE. And yeah, and then she's gonna take the turn. And then her S3 is simply a full cleanse and then a push and some healing. It's basically like against the same as Meru, and it's the same as DJB. Like it's very similar, it's just a different buff every time. And then the S1 is a dual attack with a random unit, and then you push. So Senya, I don't think you're gonna see her. She's really weak to Seal. She's really weak to ML Politis. And you kinda need a green unit on 3, which is kinda hard these days, and you need your opponent to like be forced to AoE. And even then, now she's also weak to FCC because she cuts her damage by half. So like just a bit too much for her, like just too many conditions for her to meet. Most of the time, like if you ever see her, I think it's gonna be as a counter to Lua. So when your opponent picks Lua and you want to cleanse like later down the draft, so like on 4-5, and you have a slow team, you can pick Senya as your fastest unit because she's gonna take the first turn on your team, she's gonna S1, she's gonna get countered 4 times, she's gonna proc her S2, and then she's gonna self-cleanse, and she's gonna be able to S3 and cleanse your team. So yeah, she's been picked as an answer to Lua, with like usually it was like Laia plus Senya, and then like yeah, Lua can't really do much. Okay. Senya, Schniel is just a counter to DJB, like similar to Sharun, except it's a bit more extreme. So anytime someone on his team gets venomed, he's gonna proc his S2, which is like he's gonna full cleanse his team, he's gonna give his team immunity, and he's gonna reset his S3. And his S3 is an AoE, increase defense to his entire team, and 4k fixed damage. On top of that, every time you use it again, it does an extra 4k damage, capped at 12k. So yeah, like if you play him into DDR, it's a bit awkward for DDR because he cannot press S2, he cannot press S3. That being said, keep in mind, this is similar to ML Sharun. This has a cooldown. So it's a 1-turn cooldown, yes, but it still has a cooldown. That means if, I don't know, if I press S2 with, like, let's say he's at 0% CR, I press S2 with DDR, I venom someone, Schniel is gonna proc, and let's say my DDR is faster than Schniel, I can actually press S3 before he gets a turn. And then he's slept, and then he can't make use of the reset for 1 turn. And yeah, like it can be a bit awkward at times. But overall, it's been a pretty successful counter to DDR, unlike ML Sharun. DDR's pick rate has dropped by a lot, and Schniel has always had a very, very high win rate, so it works fairly well overall. Okay. Roana. Would you ever, I mean, maybe... Roana, S3, revive to everyone, barrier, she's very weak to debuffs, she has no cleanse. Man, like, isn't it kinda crazy? Like, I'm going through every soul weaver, and I'm telling, like, they're supposed to be, like, supportive cleansers, and every single one of them, I'm telling you, like, they're weak to debuffs. Like, hello? Smallgate? Like, what the fuck you mean they're weak to debuffs? Like, all of them. Okay, so S3, she revives and she gives a barrier. But like the only reason she's ever picked is her S2. When you get attacked by a counter attack, dual attack, or an extra attack, she's gonna heal your team based on how many units are hit. So it's very important that it's an AoE. Like for instance, if land will attack you, it's a single target, she's barely gonna heal you, and she's gonna push you by 5%, which isn't much. But for instance, SSB S2, Solitaria S2, it's your entire team, so you get pushed by 20%, which is huge, and you get healed by a lot. So that's the only times you're gonna see her, basically. Anything with like AoE counters, AoE extra attacks, Belayan for instance, you might see her, but it's very rare because she has a lot of weakness. I mean, mainly she doesn't cleanse, so like that's kind of a pain. Right. Those you won't see. Frida. Frida is basically two free books actually, with two free books that work into Belayan, and on top of that at least one work into Belayan, and on top of that she bridges your team. Like she's a bridge for like she bridge from soul burns. So what she does is she gives your frontline unit a free soul burn, like one free soul burn, and then whenever someone on your team soul burn, she's gonna push herself by 20%, and then a rest 3 dispel one debuff from all allies, and then you push your entire team by 25%, and you give them increased attack. So for instance, let's say I play Luna Cleave, let's say my opponent decide to pick Belayan, that's fine, I pick Frida, I'm gonna put Luna in front, I'm gonna press S3 with Luna, it's gonna push my Frida, I'm gonna seal the Belayan, and then Frida is gonna press S3, and actually, wait, I don't know about... you can potentially get souls from her artifact, but I'm not sure how it works against Belayan actually, so don't take my word for that. Actually, I have no idea how it works into Belayan. But yeah, like still, like the idea stays the same. Like you just, like someone soul, like your frontline unit soul burn, or like someone soul burn on your team, she's gonna push, and then she's gonna take the turn, then she's gonna push the rest of your team, and like bridge them basically. Okay, Fenne, you won't see her. She was played a tiny bit like a counter to ML she's a crazy strong DPS. I think she has the highest DPS in the game, but yeah, that's all she has. Like she scales with injury, which is really awkward. That's why you see her into ML. But even then, like she's really easy to kill. She has nothing to protect herself. So yeah, like you won't see her. She's just like she's just a DPS, but you won't really see her. No. Amid. So Amid is a cleave unit. Like yeah, she's definitely a cleave unit. You will only see her as third pick because anytime you play Amid, you want to draft around her. Like her kit is really strong, but she's really bad if you can guarantee that she doesn't get post ban basically. So 99% of the time she'll be third picked. And so what she does, S2, you push your entire team 25%, and you give them a skill null, and then you get an extra turn, and then you can give attack buff and swift attack to someone, as well as from her artifact, crit damage buff, and you're gonna push them an extra 20%. So you push 45% total, 25 on your entire team, an extra 20 on a single target. And then the rest 3, it turns your attack buff into greater attack buff. So you're gonna give someone greater attack buff, crit damage buff, and push them 45%. And yes, so you can see why she's a pretty good unit in cleave. And then you just push something like, ideally you wanna push an hyper carry, like Strays, like Kise, like Judge Kise. But you can also just like play her with like just debuffers overall and play off her tempo basically. So you play like Tenebria, Peira, stuff like that, and then you win off tempo alone. But yeah, this unit, if you can't make her like 310 speed minimum, just like forget about her basically. And she's pretty weak to, since it's all CR based, right? Like it's all like all she does is like push. She's pretty weak to CR cutters. I mean stuff like that deny CR. So ML Ufin and Red Politis. Finally, Aram. Aram is a pretty weird unit. So start of the turn, she gives your entire team either immunity if you take second turn, or effectiveness if you take first turn for 3 turns. And anytime if you like the first time you get AoE'd, so the 3 turns cooldown, you get vigor, you get increased speed, and you get 10 souls. Like that's crazy value. And then a S3, you push someone 100%, which is insane, and you fully reset them, which is insane, and you give that unit 20% damage increase on their next attack. So this is all crazy strong. The issue is she's really weak to getting cleaved, basically. So like if you pick Aram, usually you're gonna want to cleave yourself, or like you're gonna be cleaving yourself. She's really weak to Amid, she's really weak to Zio, so yeah, it's pretty awkward to draft her overall. Like her kit is crazy strong, but it's kinda easy to abuse. But yeah, on paper it's really strong. And so she denies, she's really good against Lua, she's really good against Lidica, and she's really good against Arceti. But you're like, that's the issue. Like your opponent can simply, like, how do you your opponent can simply not draft those units, right? Like if you early pick Aram, they're simply not gonna draft them, and if you don't early pick Aram, then they can just post ban them, and then it can be really awkward. They can post ban her, or simply just ignore her, potentially, depending on the rest of your draft, because picking a pure support on 5 is awkward. Like on 4-5 can be awkward. Aram is a very strong unit, but she's really strong with specific units. Like you need something to truly take advantage of her kit. Like you can just like, I don't know, like a full reset is really strong, but it's not strong on like anything. Like if I full reset my Peira, it's nice, but it's not really game changing. Like ideally you want to get value out of her, and if you pick her late into your draft, it can be awkward. Okay, I think that's it for the video. Thank you for your time, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope it helps, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.